Hey everyone, Reverend Dr. Aaron Morrisari here. Today, an informational video rather than an inspirational one. Hence, I'm wearing my Not That Kind of Doctor t-shirt. What is henotheism? And what does it have to do with the 10 plagues? Now, henotheism is a funny sounding word. From the Greek, henotheism means of one God. But that definition might be a little misleading. So let's begin with some terms we're more familiar with. Monotheism means one God, and it sets forth the idea that there is only one God, beginning and end, Alpha and Omega, always and forever. On the other hand, there's polytheism, literally many gods. Now, polytheists can worship 2 or 3 deities, or 12 or 15 of greater or lesser powers, including deities that are able to die, that can be replaced by others, or even absorbed by more powerful deities. So you're likely familiar with monotheism and polytheism. Henotheism is not quite either. Henotheists worship only one God, but they recognize the existence of others. Now, monotheism does not allow this, and polytheism would say, don't just recognize those gods, worship them, lest they become angry and punish us. Well, why is this important? Because our passage for today is Exodus chapter 7, verses 14 through 25. It's the beginning of the plagues. And really, these passages are about 2 cultures really grappling with the different theisms. Now, at this point, the Hebrews are henotheist. And how can I say that? Well, just look at the first commandment. I am the Lord your God, and you shall have no other gods before me. That clearly stipulates that there are other gods in existence, but the Hebrews are to worship only the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. Classic henotheism. The Egyptians, before the time of Moses, had risen to prominence several different times. And so they had experienced polytheism, henotheism, and even a brief foray into monotheism before the time of Moses. Now let's get to our story. God has not let up on Moses and Aaron since Pharaoh first refused their request for a 3-day worship weekend at Mount Horeb. And God says now the message will be accompanied by signs. So first, a staff turns into a snake, then the staff turns the Nile into blood. And lest we think it is some ancient form of food coloring, the Nile begins to rot with death. The fish are all dead. The waters are undrinkable. But then we're told that the Egyptian magicians could do the exact same thing. Now, this is an important detail, right? It's important because it reveals a lot about religion and the ancient world. What are called plagues are actually signs. Signs of power, signs of identity, and signs of uniqueness. When the Egyptian magicians are able to mimic what the God of the Hebrews did through Moses and Aaron, there's a stalemate, but not between the humans, but rather between the deities. Pharaoh, depending on the period, was considered outright divine, or at the very least semi-divine, often as an incarnation of Ra, the sun god. Now, Ra proved to be a very adaptable and powerful deity, combining with numerous other deities that had risen to prominence and fallen away. Ra would sometimes absorb the cults of other deities and win new followers by adherents of Ra's declaring that the lesser deity had merged with Ra, the creator of all. And so this adaptation was very important to Egyptian religion. And one of the best examples of this is Ra Horus. Centuries before the time of Moses, there was an Egyptian pharaoh, Akhenaten, who sought to mandate the worship of Aten, the sun disk god. Aten was similar to Ra, but considered separate by followers who were fanatically devoted. And archaeology, recent archaeology, has revealed that there was a war between the followers of Aten and the followers of the lesser deities, which means there was a war between Aten and the lesser deities. And this was at a time when the followers of Aten said that artwork was forbidden, sacred scriptures were forbidden, and so as they gained power, they destroyed libraries, they smashed worship materials, they defaced art. Donald B. Redford, who was the archaeologist who discovered the earliest temple of Aten, wrote in an article, "Akhenaten's God does not absorb and accept. He excludes and annihilates." Yet, after the death of Akhenaten, the ban on other religions is lifted and the cult of Aten fades. Ra is on the ascendancy again, absorbs Aten, and any chance of Egyptian monotheism disappears. What we see in Exodus 7 is a battle between the gods, but also a test of human devotion. The magicians call upon their deities in the same way that Moses and Aaron call upon I Am. As Pharaoh's heart hardens, and more on that in another video, the contest between them escalates. The message in the ancient world would have been clear. Whoever wins this has the more powerful deity. Whoever has the more powerful deity has a better chance of living a good life and having an honorable good death. So if we understand the plagues to be ancient world expressions of how one can experience the power of gods or God, I think we see the stories a bit differently. They are statements that the Hebrew God will go to bat for the covenant people. And while others, the magicians, might be able to mimic the individual feats, they cannot fake the compassion that has moved God to act through Moses and Aaron. God hears the cries, feels the suffering, and stands in solidarity with those who cry out in oppression. And this is a divine power almost unheard of in the ancient world. If you're liking these videos, please let me know. I'm hoping to continue to make them. Be well, do good works, and love one another. I'll try to do the same.